Now, you say you've tried everything to recover from your fibromyalgia symptoms, but have you tried dressing like a doll yet? Well, since I'm over being sick, but I'm not over the flare-up that comes with having been sick for so long, we're gonna take it easy, and today we're gonna watch a Good Morning News program where someone literally does just that. Dresses like a doll to fix their fibromyalgia. What do you think? I know, right? And so I thought this would be really cool to check out with you guys. So let's watch it. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be good. Okay, here we go.
Now, for most grown-ups, playing with dolls is a distant memory, but not for our next guest this morning. This is Jade Smith, and dressing as a doll is an important part of helping her forget and live with the pain that she suffers from fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
Fibromyalgia.
Oh, she's so pretty.
But it costs her quite a lot of money, but she thinks it's all worth it. Good morning. Tell us what fibromyalgia is and why it causes you so much pain.
It's basically like arthritis, but it affects all my joints, all my muscles, pretty much everything in my body. It causes fatigue, insomnia. I get really severe migraines as well.
So that's a pretty good way to define fibromyalgia. In layman's terms. Another way is you might just say, basically, people that have fibromyalgia have amplified pain to the point where it affects their daily life. It affects their sleep, it affects their brain function, it affects their mood. And, you know, you think of people complaining about arthritis and things. This is like that, except it's the whole body typically, and that also usually radiates into other parts because it ends up causing tension in the muscles, which ends up causing tension headaches or migraines, and it just kind of is one of those things that spirals and is super fun. But I think she explained it very well there, don't you?
Had it, Jade?
I've had it since I was 5 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, bad news, awful.
I've met a few of you where you've had these things since childhood. Now, I wasn't diagnosed since childhood, but I've had all the symptoms, like of fibromyalgia, since maybe, 7, 8. But oof, since 5. How bad did it have to be diagnosed at 5? Oh, poor thing.
Your escape is through dressing as a doll. And what are your, when did this start? When did you first have this affinity and this desire to do this?
I first started dressing like this when I was 11 years old. I discovered it at an anime convention when I went to cosplay, and from then on I just decided that I wanted to be a doll.
So yeah, I have a kind of similar background. I used to love cosplaying at anime conventions back when there weren't anime conventions actually. You had to go to comic book conventions because there were no such thing as anime conventions here in the US. It was extremely rare. Aging myself a little bit, but yeah, it was really fun to cosplay as Ranma Half or Sailor Moon or Lena Inverse, all those fun people. I haven't done it in a long time. I really don't like how the anime convention crowd turned when it got popular, but that's just me. But yeah, it gave you so much to focus on. I could totally see a lot of us doing something similar, actually.
Well, stand up and give us a twirl here, and we'll just see. Look at this. And what is this particular outfit that you've got on here?
That's not creepy at all.
This is my sugary carnival dress, and I've got some tea party shoes on, white knee-high socks, and I've of course got my...
So those of us who had fibro noticed that she immediately sat down. And there's a reason for that. She's not wearing high heels or anything. It's just, you're in a lot of pain all the time.
my wig and my pearl tiara.
And we can see behind you a great rail of clothes there. It's an amazing kind of dressing up box. These look expensive, Jade. Where do you get them? Do they have to be made for you?
Some are specially made, others are imported from Japan and Korea. Some I've actually designed myself, like this Cinderella one, and that long dress over there, I hand drew all the design and screen printed it myself.
So there's a real community out there for this, is there?
Yes, there's quite a few people who join up and meet up every now and then who will dress like me.
So she's talking about a community of people who dress up as the dolls, not, or maybe even cosplay. But I don't think she's talking specifically about the fibromyalgia community right now. As far as I know, there is no fibromyalgia doll dressing cosplay community that's official. Let me look it up. When in doubt, Google it out. Fibromyalgia doll community. So yeah, I couldn't find an official fibromyalgia cosplay or doll dress-up community. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I couldn't find it.
How often do you dress like this? Is this something when you go to a convention, or are you doing this every day?
I'm doing it pretty much every day when I'm not working, when I've got a spare minute, or like when I'm going out to see friends.
And how, when you say it helps you, how does it help you? How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel happy, and it helps distract me from the fact that I'm in pain all the time, because for just a few minutes people are smiling at me and I can feel like their happiness.
Yeah, what is the reaction when you go out?
Jade, I can see what you've just described there. I can see, because you come alive when we talk about your subject and what you're into. And I actually knew this from my own pain, which I've suffered over the past few years. When you get a distraction, when there's something that takes you over, in my case, football or something, and you forget for 10 minutes, and then suddenly you realise, oh, that pain's still there. But it is an amazing relief, isn't it?
Gotta love endorphins. It's why a lot of us end up eating a lot of the wrong food or get addicted to shopping and become shopaholics to distract ourselves from the pain, whether we need this stuff or not. This is one of the big reasons where I say, whatever room you gotta be in the most, decorate it, make it yours, make it blinged out, pretty, fun, because it's for the endorphins. It's for the, to give you that happy feeling to help you deal with the pain. Because some ways of dealing with the pain are not healthy. As I just mentioned, being a shopaholic, especially with how little funds we have. You'll notice a lot of my 600-pound life people complain about pain, and the food makes the pain go away, but it's still making everything worse. So not healthy. You got to find a better way to cope. And for me, I'm working on making my room a super enjoyable place to be, since I'm stuck in here so much. By the way, did you guys notice my glitter wallpaper? Pretty cool, huh? Got a glitter accent wall now, thanks to my wonderful father and husband helping put that up. Oh, and I finally got a new bed frame, you might have noticed too, to replace my old broken one. Woo woo! Woo woo! Woo woo! Yeah! Woo woo! Subscribe! Woo woo! Subscribe! Woo yeah! Subscribe! Woo woo! Yeah, subscribe! Woo 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 woo! Don't forget to like! Woo 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 woo!
Yeah, it's a really good relief because there's no cure for fibromyalgia, and most pain medications don't work for it.
So this is true. There is no known cure for fibromyalgia. It can spontaneously go into remission, but usually in many cases, or most cases I've heard of, it does end up coming back. Now, it might be 10, 20 years later, but most cases I've heard of, it does come back in the future. So part of me wonders how much of it is actual remission and how much of it is just learning to live with your symptoms to avoid a flare-up and avoid having the problems surface. And not to mention, most of us just have an extremely high pain tolerance, so what we think of as normal pain isn't normal, i.e., having any pain all the time is literally not normal. I didn't believe the doctor when they told me that originally, and then I asked a bunch of normal people. Normal pain is zero. Zero pain. Sorry.
I'm taking quite a few medications right now to try, but my only hope is that they find a cure eventually.
So, as far as a cure for fibromyalgia, I don't think pain meds are a good fit. I think some people do get desperate. I do not like them. I worked in the hospital and I saw what happened to people. Well, yeah, if it ends up making your pain receptors feel pain stronger when you're not on it, if you've been on it for too long, guess what? It's going to make everything a hell of a lot worse. And then just like any other drug, the longer you're on it, the more you need to get the same effect. Oh, gee, that won't cause huge issues. And then it did. And when you're desperate, yeah, I get it. But don't take anything until you have to, honestly. Most of them are just to mask the symptoms. It doesn't fix anything. In fact, it usually makes things worse and adds to your list of problems. And makes it harder to figure out what's going wrong in the first place.
Because you've got a collection of dolls yourself, haven't you?
Yes.
What kind of dolls do you collect, and how many have you got?
I collect porcelain dolls, bisque dolls, ball-jointed dolls, and quite a few Disney-related dolls as well.
So do you base your look? So do you take maybe one of those dolls and go, I'm going to look like that doll today, or I want to look like this one?
Some of my dolls I do. They've all pretty much got blue eyes and blonde hair, which is pretty much what I aim for.
How much money do you think you've spent over the years on all these things?
About £20,000. I've spent like £8,000 on shoes because I've got over 40 pairs.
Yeah, but this is a collection. This is probably a collection you could trade if you want to. And you know, when you mention dolls, the most famous doll that springs to mind are Barbie doll, Ken doll. Are these, do they have an influence on your life, or is it more specialist than that?
I do collect Barbies, and I love more the vintage Barbies than the modern Barbies because they go more with my look, and they're often paler skin and more blue eyes and blonde hair.
Because you live with your families, your parents still, don't you?
Yeah.
So what do they make of this? Are they happy for you to be doing this in their house with this huge collection that's getting bigger?
This lady is kind of giving me vibes, you know, the stay away from vibes. This news lady, she's kind of, oh, how much did that cost? Oh, your family must love you taking up all this room for dolls. Like, she's being a little vish for no reason.
And bigger.
They kind of have accepted it now, but they still wish that I would cut down on my collection and possibly get a smaller wardrobe.
Yeah. How much time do you spend as Jade the doll and Jade the person? I mean, how much of your day is spent dressed as a doll?
I think about 50-50. Most of the time it's pretty much just myself. But with the getting ready and everything, it takes me so long, so I spend more time as me, the person.
I wonder how old this is, because nowadays you could totally make that personality sell on Instagram or OF or who knows what. Like, people love watching quirky personalities like that. In fact, aren't a lot of the internet gamer girls like kind of like dressed up like dolls? It might be lucrative nowadays. Who knows?
About what reaction do you get when you go out shopping?
People take photos with me and they say nice comments, and some shout mean comments at me, but I get used to it after a while.
You rise above that. More nice than mean.
Yeah,
People are more
definitely.
interested.
Yeah.
And how long does it take you to get dressed up like this?
It can take me 4 to 6 hours because of my condition.
Oh my gosh, that's so right. Like, yeah, it looks like you just put on a dress, put on a wig, put on the makeup. For normal people, that'd be true. But even for me with my YouTube setup, it's put on a little bit, take a rest. Put on a little bit, take a rest. Do the lighting, take a rest. Get everything in frame just right, take a rest. And it ends up taking five hours for me usually with a ready setup. Like, I have the type of setup that's pretty much all set to go. But getting everything, putting on the clothes, makeup, and then just fine tuning, 5 hours. Most people can just get in there and start. And when you have a severe chronic illness that includes a lot of pain, that's just not how it works.
I struggle putting makeup on and doing buttons up, and even tying bows really hurts. And even putting my shoes on, I can't do buckles that well. I have to have pop-on shoes.
Oh, she ain't even fat. This new medication I'm on has made me gain so much weight now. Have you noticed? And having a tummy and trying to like put on socks and shoes is a lot more painful than I remember it being. At least she's skinny.
So you do your makeup very well.
Thank you.
And you're happy today. We can see you're happy today.
Yeah.
So do you dress like a doll to distract from your fibromyalgia pain, or do you do something else? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching the whole video. Really helps me with the algorithm, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Like, subscribe, and keep on surviving, my friends.